Hey everyone, today we're going to go through a vibe coding session and we're going to build an AI agent that connects to GitHub. I'm Dan, AI engineer, and this is Dave.
I'm a DevOps engineer.
And we've been building software for about 20 years now. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to build out an AI agent that connects to GitHub, and we're going to use this backend called Klavis. They provide a ton of different MCP servers. For example, GitHub, Linear, YouTube, Google Calendar, bunch of stuff. For this one, we're just going to connect to GitHub. In the end, we'll have a repo that has a generic Klavis client, and you would be able to extend with Linear or any one of these integrations.
Yeah, you can think of an MCP server as basically an API that an agent can talk to.
Yeah.
Eventually, all these companies are going to have their own MCP servers.
Yeah.
But for now, use Klavis.
Yeah, and actually one of the cool things about Klavis is that it takes care of OAuth for you. So we'll go through that OAuth flow, which would probably be one of the more annoying pieces to get right if you went and created all these on your own. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and go to the terminal now. All right, so we're starting with an empty directory here. We just have a plan.md file. We wrote this ahead of time just so we had a good starting point. You can actually build this with Claude if you want. We want a CLI for Python, an AI agent that connects to GitHub. So the user is going to ask a question. The AI agent will then use the tools via Klavis, and then the AI agent will make multiple tool calls to answer that question. And we want to make sure that the OAuth flow is handled automatically. So the idea is you ask a question. If you're not authorized, it'll open up the OAuth flow for you. And just a few things, we're going to use Prompt Toolkit to create the CLI, OpenAI as our model. So we're making it very clear what tools we want to use. Otherwise, Claude's just going to pick a bunch of different random tools. We have our preferences, so we like to tell Claude exactly which tools we want to use. You probably have a different kind of technical stack for Terraform or Go or something like that.
Yeah, in our use, it's really good at React. It's really good at Python, right? So it's pretty good at Go too, but Python and React, it's a rock star.
Yep. That's just because most of the internet is made up on that, right? All right, since Claude doesn't know about Klavis, we are pointing it to the documentation and giving it a little heads up on what it is. And then there's a few different components here. The CLI agent, Klavis, GitHub is the specific integration that we want to do. And then there's some environment variables that we want to set up. And these are already in a .env file. Actually, I think, so we're using python.env there. And then here's just an example of the success criteria. So let's go ahead and make a GitHub repo, fire up Claude.
Yeah, so the most important thing is we're using Claude to do all this.
Yeah.
We are huge fans of Claude. So let's go.
The goal is not to leave the terminal except for when we OAuth. So let's see how it goes. All right, so first things first, I want to ask Claude to expand this plan and do a phased development. So when you're vibe coding, you don't want to ask Claude to do too much, or it'll do too much, make a bunch of mistakes. So can you read plan.md and create a more detailed plan for this project that we can do in phases?
Now, Dan, are you in Claude's planning mode right now?
I am not in Claude's.
Okay, so I use Claude's planning mode. Dan does not. That's okay. This is America. We can do what we want.
So I like to have it in a file so I can just track it. I can verify what it's going to do. We can iterate on the file.
Yep.
So let's just see what it comes up with. So this will probably take a little bit. Luckily in the video, you'll be able to skip past most of this stuff.
Yep.
Let's see if it actually goes to the web to read the Klavis documentation.
That's important for documentation because it only knows what it knows at the date that it began creating this model.
Yeah.
Right? So if that was 6 months ago, that's when its data ends.
Right. And Klavis is very new. It just came out a few months ago.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's not going to the web, so I'm guessing we're going to have to tell it, all right, go look at the web, you're doing it wrong. So let's see what it comes up with.
Yeah.
Even though we gave it the resource here. So this is it. It's going to overwrite everything. I'm just going to say yes, and then we'll review what it said. Okay. Looks good.
Day 1 and 2.
Yeah, right.
We plan to get this done in hour 1 and 2. Are you kidding me?
That's the funny thing. Okay. So one thing nice about creating this plan is Claude has already thought through a bunch of stuff. Now I'm reviewing it, triggered a bunch of things in my head, and now I have a better idea of what I probably want it to do. So I want to just start by creating the CLI. Then I want to create an agent that answers questions using OpenAI. Then add Klavis plus tools. And then we should be done.
Well, one cool thing that's going on right now is that we're building the context for this project within Claude.
Yeah.
But we're also building within us.
Yeah, so
we are, by looking at this, I'm like, oh, wait. Right?
These are all the different pieces that we need to build. Claude just helped fill in a lot of the blanks.
Yeah.
We started with basic requirements and things like, oh, we like Prompt Toolkit. We want it to be a CLI. We want to just use OpenAI because it's easy.
All right. Here we go.
Let's see what it decided to do with that. Still has 6 phases. Nice, Claude. You're really trying to stretch this out. Okay, so at least phase 1 is good.
Yeah, phase 1 is a little bit clearer, just like all the basic.
Phase 2 looks good, and phase 3 also. So it did what I want, but then it's like enhanced CLI experience, compound queries. So we're probably going to stop after phase 3, but this is good enough. Let's just get started here.
Wait, so do we want to remove phase 4 and 5 and 6 here? Because
no. So what I like to do is just say, all right, let's implement phase 1. I make sure phase 1 works, commit.
Okay.
Then phase 2, make sure it works, commit, and then we'll do.
Don't let it.
And then we're just.
Don't let it try to do too much. That's the main.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I asked it to split it up into phases. I want to make sure after each phase, and I can direct it. All right, let's do this phase. And you can already see, like, if you just let Claude loose, look at how many phases it has, and we really just want to get to something that's working immediately. So it's already trying to do too much.
Yeah.
It's in enterprise mode. It's like, all right, we're making
enterprise. You got to reel it in. You got to be very specific with Claude.
All right, and it just keeps going. Yeah. Let's start with phase 1. So now we have a UV project. We have a git ignore. We have a .env example. And now it's adding the CLI dependencies that we want to use, and rough for linting.
You know, in the output for the .git ignore, I did not see .m, so we might want to actually check that before we commit.
Let's see.
Let's take a look.
There's .env right there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. It wasn't in the output, but it's the type of thing you always want to check, right?
All right, we'll test it. Okay, there it is. Wow, that's a nice CLI, Claude. Hello. Great. So we got our basic CLI working. Let's commit this. Look, we got all these files. Thank you, Claude.
You can also have Claude commit. I have Claude commit most of the time.
Well, for this one, the reason I'm not going to have Claude commit is because initially I get worried about it checking in things that I don't want it to check in. Let's look at this file one more time.
So you're saying you never use Claude commit and push?
Not usually,
okay.
No. But that's me being like ultra conservative, I
guess.
All right, I'm going to remove this test CLI because it's not a real test file. It's just Claude trying to do stuff. And then we'll just say CLI. Cool, we got a CLI.
So we're done with phase 1. We got the CLI. Or was the agent also in phase 1?
No, we just have the CLI. So the agent is phase 2. It's going to start getting a little bit more interesting. We'll see what Claude envisions as the agent. In this case, it's pretty basic because we're not doing tools. But let's see what it does here. All right, here we go. It's expanded its to-do list. So it's going to create that config file, agent.py, replace echo with actually the OpenAI chat completion. Great. Conversation history context. That might be overkill. Let's see what it ends up doing. Streaming responses. It's getting pretty fancy. Yeah. So it's doing a little bit more than I would expect, especially this validating phases. Let's remove that. So
I don't understand the validating.
Let's keep it simple and remove them and the validating phases.
We also could have put that into the plan in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can, like the stuff that we're redirecting now, we could have done initially.
Right.
We just didn't think about it.
Yeah.
But now we're thinking about it.
It's an iterative process, and a lot of times I just like start from scratch. See, much simpler. This is exactly what I expected initially. It did add this OpenAI model, but that's actually fine. All right, so let's go to the agent now. See what it did here. Config looks good. OpenAI, like it. Messages, here's a system prompt. It already did that. All right, since it just kind of did everything for us, I'm pretty happy with this. Okay, so now it's updating the CLI. All right, let's see where we're at here. We'll try to run it. Let's see. It works. Thinking, hello. Oh, wow.
So now we're doing, we're able to talk to the agent. Yep. OpenAI through the agent. That's all we're doing now.
Yep.
Now Klavis is next.
All right, let's see. Come on, Claude. Hurry up, dude. Test phase 2. We're not going to do that.
We just tested it.
Can you run rough and update the README?
Like I was talking earlier, it's updating its to-do internal to-do list. It's not updating our plan, but you can see it is updating the README. Yeah. Right, with its progress.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so this one is actually quite complicated. Let's see what it's saying here.
Initialize the client makes sense.
Okay, so I kind of have an idea of how I want this to work. So I'm gonna actually redirect a little bit here and say, let's move to phase 3, but I want to start with just identifying GitHub tools. We're going to need a Klavis GitHub server URL in variable to get all the tools available for the GitHub MCP server. Read the docs if needed. So we talked about one thing earlier was like, okay, Claude makes this super nice CLI up front for us without thinking, but it also will send you down maybe not the best path on the first try.
No.
And so that's where your development expertise comes in and you help guide Claude down the path.
It's very common to hit the escape key when you know it's making a mistake.
Yeah.
Hit the escape and be like, okay, I want correct it. I want you to do this, or go parse this URL.
Yeah.
Or I already did that, or don't buy. It's like it's pretty common.
Yeah. So right now it's reading the docs for me. Maybe I could cheat a little bit and look at docs myself.
Well, I mean that's like part of it, right? Like you have to know what you're doing.
Claude's
great, but like you do have to tell Claude exactly, pretty much what.
Yeah, if you're gonna just vibe without knowing anything, you're probably gonna create a mess. Oh, actually, I didn't ever commit phase 2, did I? Add an OpenAI agent.
Yeah, pointing Claude at the correct documentation is very, very common and saves you a lot of headache, right?
Yeah, so hopefully what happens here is it reads the tools from GitHub, and then we want to integrate those tools into the agent. And then once the agent decides it needs to use a tool, our code needs to check to see if we've authorized that tool yet. Let's just write it and then review it. Okay, so that's creating the GitHub server. So it's getting ahead of the game here. I don't think we have to create a GitHub server yet. But discover tools. Okay, this is actually what I wanted it to do. So this is the list tools. So it already did more. I think it looks okay so far. Okay, display tools. All right, it really just went overboard again, but it looks okay. So let's look at the test tools.
Yeah, it's running test tools right now.
Okay, it pulls the config as we wanted. Klavis tools, that's the class that we just looked at. So here, would create a new server instance. This discover tools, this what we'll do because we want to just pull in all the GitHub tools. So this all looks good. Let's run this ourselves. There should be tools, but there are not. And it's going to need to figure out why. And my guess is the response. They're just using it incorrectly. I'm going to ask it a question.
it should have fetched that, or we should have told it.
It did fetch it, but it still did it wrong. So now it reread it and rediscovered it. But there is a Python SDK. So it's just looking at SDK. We need to tell it to read this too. Okay, cool. So it's now starting to do the right thing. Oh, you can't see that Chrome window that I was looking at, but I pulled the Python SDK from Chrome. I have the docs up.
Seriously, like having it fetch docs is one of the most useful things you can do.
Yeah.
Like fetch this, up to date.
All right. So Claude will create a mess when it's trying to debug things, but then you can usually just tell it to clean it up, or it'll clean up on its own once it gets it right. Okay, 32 tools.
Perfect.
Okay, got
awesome.
it. All right, good job, Claude. Now it's fixing the display. Super fancy.
It really wants to do the tree display. It's very excited about that. Most of the time, it will clean up the debugging stuff on its own, though, right? It'll add a bunch of debugging lines or separate files to debug, and then usually it'll delete them once it's fixed the problem, but not always.
So, in general, the fewer things that you have, the better Claude's going to work.
All right, let's test it. Okay. Now that's complete.
Got the tools, 32.
Oh, perfect. Awesome.
Okay, cool. So it can see all the tools. Right now, we haven't added the auth. All right, let's see what we have now. Oh, look at that. That's all it needed was two functions. And
I like how it's prompting you to format the code because you told it to do it last time and now I remembered. Which is all part of the context, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah.
All right, this is looking pretty good. Let's commit. All right.
So when you're done with this, pull up the plan.markdown file. See what the next phase is. We need to auth, right? To the next phase is authing to your GitHub account.
Yeah, next phase is auth. So first let's commit this. I like to just commit, similar to when you're writing code on your own, commit regularly so you can just like throw things away if Claude blows stuff up. So
not that it ever does that. But.
Yeah, no, never. Add tools to agent. So now we have GitHub tools, which is pretty cool. We just need to actually add the auth, so make sure that it's calling my GitHub account when I approve it. So we can go back to the plan, and so what did we do here? We did this. We did 3.1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now we need to implement the OAuth flow. All right, so Claude just created an OAuth flow. Let's see what it looks like. So it added some console prints, save connection loads. So get or create server URL. This is great. Create new server. Save connections.
Got some debugging statements.
Okay, so there's actually a missing piece here, but the next thing that we need to do is when we create that server, there's going to actually be an OAuth URL that comes back in that response. And we're going to have Python open up that URL so we can authorize. Let's run. Okay, cool. So it did create a new GitHub CLI. It's able to find all the tools, but it's not actually showing us OAuth.
Did it populate the connections file earlier?
So the way it works is it actually gets that service instance and it has the URL, but you still need to perform OAuth or else it won't actually work. So
okay. Somehow you have to go to that URL.
Pull the OAuth URL out of the server that is returned and use Python web browser to open the URL so we can connect to our personal account. All right, I'm going to remove this again. Then I'm going to run.py. And all right, so it's actually creating a new server.
Can't see that, but the URL popped up.
Browser has now opened. Now we should be able to tell me the authenticated user. And we'll see what it does. Okay, so it didn't actually work just yet. All right, so we got OAuth going. Maybe it's time to do a little cleanup, and then we'll figure out how to wire this up to the CLI. Let's see. Connections file, great. That's exactly what we wanted. Load connections, save connections, get or create server URL. Okay, so it loaded, then saved, and then it opens it up in a web browser. Check authentication. Okay, that's just making sure that we are authenticated. Okay, cool. So actually, this all looks good to me. What do you think? Commit?
Yeah, looks good. Now we just gotta get the agent to actually.
Yeah. So now we have the OAuth flow in. All right, it is looking good, but the agent isn't doing anything.
Well, let's look at the plan before you hit that.
Okay.
Let's see what the plan is.
So the plan is, I guess, this piece 3.3.
Yeah, discover.
So we did this.
That one's done.
We did this one, I believe.
Yeah, we just gotta do those last three.
But the agent isn't doing anything. Yeah, let's just say that.
Well, it's not doing anything with. It's not doing anything
calling
with
the tool.
Yeah.
Is it
using the GitHub
using the response? Do we have an agent loop, which I don't think we have. So what we would expect is I think what's happening is it calls, it sees that the tool call, it should use the tool call, but we're not actually looping and passing the result to OpenAI and then calling the LLM again. Yeah, let's see.
Is this going to work, Dan? Is it?
Is it actually doing something?
Oh, yes. Nice.
All right, we did it.
We did it. It's working.
Let's just do one sanity check. And all right, so yeah, it has this loop now in here, and great. Ship it.
I'll have it update the README before we get out of here. Right. Oh, it tells you to use mermaid templates too. You know, I love me some mermaid templates.
User mermaid. Yeah. Luckily, AI is pretty forgiving on those spelling mistakes.
Love me some mermaid templates.
So then we'll commit this and let's create a
GitHub
repo.
Yeah, let's do it. GitHub. Let's do it.
So you guys can see it. Let's create a Klavis example GitHub repo under app.
Oh, we should create a Claude Markdown file as well.
Yeah, we can. Let's see. So repo create app vitals Klavis example public. Thank you, Claude. So now it'll wire up the origin and push to GitHub. There you go. Sweet. Okay, yeah, let's make a claude.md.
Or you can just do /init, right?
Should
Even though, yeah, right, because that's what it's going to do. It's going to, I mean, it already has a context, right? So
let's do it. There you go. Pro user. All right.
Are those the only two keys we need? We just need OpenAI and Klavis. Right?
Yeah, that's where we ended. All right, this looks good. Great. All right, that's it for today.
Yeah,
we connected to GitHub.
Well, Claude did most of the work.
Yeah, thank you, Claude.
Yeah, Claude, thank you.
You're the best, and thank you for doing our jobs for us.
Yeah. Actually, thank you for taking the mundane, boring part away from our jobs.
Yeah.
And letting us do the fun part of the job.
Exactly.
Right?
And if you want to work with us, there's a link in the description of the YouTube video. Click it, schedule a meeting with us. All right.
Bye.
Thanks. See you.